1975, Silicon Valley. It wasn't really that long ago in a lot of ways. It's recent history, and yet in the computer world, it's ancient history. We're talking about the Homebrew Computer Club, the club that in many ways started it all and was certainly fertile ground for what became the personal computer revolution. Not everybody's so happy about the free spirits at the Homebrew Computer Club, right? I hear a young Bill Gates wrote you a nasty letter, didn't he? What happened there? What's the story there? Harry, do you want to tell that story?
Sure. It was certainly a letter that he wrote, and at that time, the only significant software for the Altair computer was something called Altair Basic, which you got on paper tape. And if you were one of those fortunate few that had a RS-232 port and a teletype that could read paper tape, then you in fact could load this paper tape into your computer. It was the only way to do it. Maybe is exactly right. And this was sold by MITS, who made the Altair computer, but it was licensed from two young gentlemen, one who took off time from Harvard to write this, and his name, of course, was Bill Gates.
And the other, Paul Allen, we should give credit to since he owns this channel.
And Paul Allen was the other. And Paul Allen was the other.
He did the work. He did the work.
Yeah, well, there's always a debate there about who did the work. We won't get into that. We won't get into that.
But one thing about an if you have an RS-232 port and a teletype, this teletype has both a reader and a punch.
Yeah.
So you could put the paper tape in one side and get a copy of the paper tape out the other side.
Push the button. It's automatic.
Yes.
And this is probably the world's first case of software piracy.
It started then, and it hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped.
Did he come to the club, actually?
Yes. Yeah, he came, and he made a presentation, very impassioned, and it was really with a lot of foresight. He saw that if this were going to continue, where copies were made and the software manufacturer, the people who put the intellectual property into the software, didn't get the resources, there would be no more software.
Yeah.
So he made an impassioned plea to stop the copying of software.
But it was also part of what the revolution was all about, because once things are bits, it's pretty darn hard to hold on to them. And that's kind of what's happened. I mean, it's given us all this flexibility and power. Steve, you were saying that it didn't, these guys had some vision, but you didn't really share that?
There's product categories and this and that, and it's kind of logical. To me, I was so influenced. I'd had a computer bug when I was young.
Right.
Kept up a sideline hobby of designing projects of my own, but really came back into this club, and it was the types of people, their personalities, how they spoke, how they were excited about what these computers of the future could possibly lead to, that really inspired me to get back into it and try to contribute my stuff. And it was, a little bit of everyone here influenced me. It was, Harry's Kremko Dazzler. I don't even know if I saw it demoed, but hearing about color made me think, God, you want to put color in a computer, don't you?
Right.
And fortunately, 5 years before, I had designed and built a little tiny 8-bit, 256-byte computer. So I've been through the switches and lights, and you know what? Wanted to do something like more human, like our calculators at Hewlett-Packard. And the keyboard was really a key start, and luckily I'd come in with a video terminal with a human keyboard. And I said, skip that airplane cockpit stuff.
Right.
And then Lee and Bob came out with the processor technology Sol after the Apple I,
right.
A keyboard-based computer.
Right. And
and that was the paradigm that continued. And then the Apple II came. And
so you just kind of ping-ponged off each other, standing on each other's shoulders, and this good idea, that good idea.
It was like clicking into what this computer for people should finally look like was all starting right there in that club.
Did at any point spin off where people start saying, hey, maybe there's some money in this, I'm going to hold on and not give this stuff away?
Well,
besides Bill Gates.
Me, the Apple I came down to every meeting, and I thought, this is a club, everybody's talking sharing. We're passing out, I would write software, I wouldn't copyright it or something, just put it in the club newsletter. I would design the Apple I, passed out schematics so people could build their own cheaply.
There's an Apple I in the wooden case there, but you didn't come in with a case. Did you come in? You came in first with the schematics. Did you eventually build a board and bring that in?
Oh, eventually built the board. By the time I had the schematics, I had the board, and the board could be laid down with some wires on a keyboard, and my Sears TV, I'd carry it in. And it was, it's the only output device you have for free. I couldn't afford a $400 processor either, so I had a $20 processor. But I could type in some hexadecimal codes that I had figured out how to get a program into it and show something on a screen step by step. Every few weeks, I'd bring in a demo and show it. He's like, develop the basic language, because, I could sniff the air. And here was Bill Gates and his BASIC, and I just sort of knew that somehow the world was going to go BASIC. And I'd never used BASIC, and I'd never written a computer language or really studied it, except I had some mimeograph notes that Alan sent me when he was a student at MIT about computer interpreter design. So I wrote this BASIC, and it showed it off every step of the way, adding some commands to it.
It must have been so exciting. It must have been so fun to see this every week, something new, something exciting.
Right. My job was to stand up there and not say anything, but keep other people from talking over each other. The process was one person at a time got 90 seconds maximum. This was varied, but 90 seconds maximum to say whatever they wanted. They had to stand up so people could identify them. That meant they knew who they wanted to talk to. That's your secondary information. I want to talk to this guy. And so just keep doing one at a time. And when the inevitable back and forth conversations and arguments started, I had to break it up. And I learned to use humor and body language and the pointer and so forth for that.
Lee won't say this about himself, but he was very funny, and I think that without the way that Lee ran those meetings, it never would have worked. In fact, I would go there half just to see you perform.
Ringmaster Lee tells us that.
And nobody had to pay admission.
Darn it, you see, you had an opportunity. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, find out what, in the aftermath of the Homebrew Computer Club, what happened next when the Screensavers continues. Stay right here.